Does practical performance exist? Let's find out with the newest Focal headphones.
Welcome to Hi-Fi. I'm Marcos, this is Kurt, and today we're having a look at the brand new Focal BATHYS Headphones. The new Focal BATHYS is a high-performance wireless headphone, retailing at $1,000 Canadian or around $800 USD. Featuring Focal's famous 40mm aluminum magnesium driver. It has an aluminum magnesium construction throughout the headphone. It also features a leather and microfiber headband for long-lasting performance and comfortability. On the techie side, they are rated at a 30-hour battery life with every feature turned on. They have 5.1 Bluetooth tech with AAC and aptX formats. It also has some really cool little techie features like the USB DAC mode, where you're able to plug in a USB cable and take advantage of its full 192 or 24-bit decoding formats. The other thing to note, the Focal BATHYS have been downsized a little bit from their hi-fi headphones, bringing the weight down to around 350 grams.
To me, this looks like Focal headphone.
Wow!
This does really follow a lot of the lines and the build quality of their regular hi-fi headphones that they make. And overall, I think it's really good. One thing is, I noticed that they definitely shrunk it. Another thing what they did was the case. I wish we had a case here, and I told you to bring your own headphones here. I would say this is at least, 30, maybe even 40% smaller. So again, it brings the practicality of you being able to carry it around. And the thing is, the overall weight, I like how they lighten it, but it still feels, I would say, like rigid and stiff enough what you'd see in a premium headphone, like what this is. This is real leather, and the nice thing, it's soft. And overall, like I think this is even leather on the top. Again, it just adds to the overall quality and feel of this unit.
Touching on that more rigid and stiffer construction, in terms of head feel, when you put them on, they definitely do feel like a really solidly built headphones. I didn't notice too much like little squeaks or creaks or anything like that. I did find they have a good clamping force, but it's not over the top, so it doesn't feel like you've got your head in a vice. I actually wore the BATHYS for many hours already, and I was pretty impressed with the overall fit and feel of this headphone. One thing I really like about the Focal BATHYS too is the fact that when it's up close and personal, it does feel like a proper premium Focal headphone. But when you're wearing it out in public, I find the gunmetal finish makes it a little bit more subdued, so it doesn't flash too much attention to your headphones. The other thing that I find is really cool with these Focal BATHYS is the fact that the Focal logo lights up when you're wearing them. Now, of course, you can change that in the settings with the app. When it came to the initial setup of the Focal BATHYS, it was actually pretty straightforward. If you're just going to use them without any of the cool little functionality that you can adjust with the headphone, you can simply pair them like a classic pair of Bluetooth headphones. Now, when it comes to a more advanced setup and you maybe want to play around with the different filtering options that you can have. So the BATHYS feature 3 different active noise cancelling options: transparent mode, soft, and full silent mode. The soft mode I found was actually pretty cool because it's like a blend between transparent and the full noise cancelling. So you're still able to hear some of the environment around you with no issue. The other thing you can do, you can adjust the equalization of the headphones plus or minus 6 dBs with many different frequencies. And lastly, you can adjust, like I mentioned earlier, the lighting of the headphones. So if you find the lighting is a little too flashy for you, you can turn it on a dim setting or just completely off.
When I think of all the other headphones in the market, it's not very many that are trying to go for this premium class. When you're looking at them, a lot of them, it's more convenience in mind. But the one thing is that truly after spending some time and really listening to these headphones, just the sound quality, like everything is, one of the biggest things that I found is in the bass compared to a lot of those other headphones. They finally do it a lot more right, where it's not boomy, it's not exaggerated, and that's one of the biggest difference. And also too, in the terms of refinement and the overall presence it gives, it really is getting a lot closer to those higher end headphones that I really do like. So we felt we had to add this category of practicality, and because we really want to see, is it really that practical? For overall general use, walking around, kind of doing errands or anything like that, it is really comfortable. I think it's just light enough. I would say compared to other ones in this category, it's still going to be a little bit more heavier, but I think it's still okay. Yeah, and also when it comes to the pressure around there, I think you can go on for hours without that bothering you. I have tried many noise canceling, even from the original, all the way from the Bose ones, which they're very famous for, and I think this one is actually one of the better ones. A lot of consistent noise, for example, in the fan, the hood fan / blow dryer test, or if you're on an airplane, it's really going to remove like a lot of that noise. When it comes down to talking, I actually was surprised how well the active noise canceling works. And also things are not consistent, like someone honking the horn, or when we're on the construction site, the beeping in the background, stuff like that. It will help mute it a little bit, but just to let you know, not fully.
Yeah, we had many different use cases that we kind of wanted to vet these headphones through and see how well they did. We even went to that construction site, and yeah, like you said, you could still hear the beeping, but the general motor noise was very, very muted. One thing that I also noticed too, as you might see in our clips here, like falling down or a quick jerk of the headphones, luckily they fit tightly enough that they didn't fall off my head. We also tested them out by me doing some quick push-ups to see if they'd move around, and yeah, they're a little bit chunkier, but they did have a pretty good seal on there. Now, would I be going for a run with them or doing some heavier activities with them? I don't know. I feel like they might loosen up over time and they might shake around a little bit more than you'd want. It's all up to you, I guess. One thing to note though is if you are going to be doing some heavy sweating, these are a fully closed back and sealed headphone with leather ear pads, so they are going to get hot on the ears. Some lighter exercise like a brisk walk or a light jog or trail walking, they would have no problem at all, and I actually quite enjoyed them when we were walking around outside today having some fun.
So a low volume test, what I feel was around 55 to even 60 dBs. I really wanted to try to get low there. It was really good. Overall you can still hear all the detail and even the texturing and all the instruments. I did find some of the stuff on the percussion started to sound a little bit light at those really, really low volumes, but overall, really good performance for a headphone.
When it came down to listening to the Focal BATHYS at high volume, so 80 dBs plus, they really had no problem going way louder than I would ever want to listen to a headphone. Most of the listening I did on the headphone was around 50 to 60% on my iPhone slider, so keep that in mind. They'll play loud, no problem. I did find at loud volumes too, they definitely did not break up. The bass was clean and articulated, but it didn't get overpowering. Everything was still clean and distinct, so I actually really like them. For if you're a loud headphone listener, these are actually a good choice for sure. Before we dive into the music, this kind of video is quite new for us, doing these kinds of headphones. If you like it, please subscribe to our channel. As usual, we listen to a whole bunch of music with these. I even brought them home and connected them to my TV to see how they performed. But the two songs that really stood out for us today, Marsh, Life on the Shore. This album came out a few years ago and I love the general vibe of this album. It's awesome. It has some really great just spatial effects, and it's really easy to listen to and punchy at the same time. The song we listened to was Life on the Shore, the title track of the album. And I love how this song starts off. It's really quiet. There's some just small effects starting off. And then it just dives right in with a vocal that pans in. And then right into the beats, which hit hard and fast with the Focal BATHYS.
When listening to this track, as soon as the first bass notes strike, I said, this is what I'm looking for. And especially because you can really hear the changes in tone. Again, it wasn't overwhelming or just too much, which is usually found again in these more, I would say, commercialized headphones. And one thing I really like is the separation of the vocals. You can see in this track, and the way they mixed it and they layered it, it's supposed to be two distinct vocals on there. And it really did a good job that you can hear the separation, not like they're singing into one mic or anything like that. And it was, really, you can clearly hear what they were trying to do.
The second song that really stood out for us today is a Doris Montero song. The song name is quite long, so Vous de Samba comme Voce. I really love this song because it starts off big and bombastic. You get horns going on, you get the drums kicking in, and I found with the Focal BATHYS, it really did a good job with presenting all these instruments in a cluttered up way. It was clear, it was distinct, and it let you just flow with the rhythm of the song.
Right away, the vocals stood out to me. And because you can hear all the intricacies like in the voice that kind of just adds to the overall performance. Even like the little things where you can tell when she's like singing a little bit faster, it's mic really close. Her microphone, she's speaking right into the microphone, and you can tell in the more the soft and subdued parts, she pulls it back. And the fact that you can notice that in these headphones is quite amazing. On the drums, what I can really hear is everything is really quite intricate sounding, and in terms of where you're able to separate stuff and stuff weren't all just kind of all glued together. And even little things, it's on this track, between you can hear when they're hitting the snare, and it goes to the tom. The tom is really faint, and sometimes in a lot of either headphones or even audio systems, you can't pick that up. And here I was able to clearly really hear that. What's something that sounded really clear was the horns. I just wish it had more of that, just like that more body, because it really should have horn should have a certain thing where kind of just that bite that I really wasn't getting. But again, still, I'm just maybe starting to nitpick at this point. Yeah.
When it came time to comparing the Focal BATHYS to different headphones out there, there's not too many in this product category just yet. But there's a few out there that came up to mind for us, and the first for me would be the Apple AirPod Max. The one thing I really like about the AirPod Max is it has that classic Apple ease of use. So you turn them on, they're connected to your phone with one click, and there you go, you're ready to go. The other cool feature about them is the fact that they do have spatial audio. So with Apple Music doing a lot of their spatial audio mixing for certain albums, you can take advantage of that. The one thing I did find that's really prevalent with the Focal BATHYS is the fact that it does have a longer battery life. The fact that it is more compatible with both Apple and Android products. Not to mention the fact that the sound quality is quite a bit better than the AirPod Max. I would say the bass is far more articulated, the top end is a lot more clean and distinct, and the staging is quite nice with the BATHYS. The AirPod Maxes do sound good, but I find most people that are buying that product, it's all about the ease of use and the looks. When it comes down to connectivity with the Focal BATHYS, I really meant when it comes to Android users as well, because it has OK Google and Amazon Alexa built in, whereas the AirPod Max only has the Siri functionality.
So the two headphones that come to mind for me is the B&O, the H95, and also there's that Mark Levinson one that I saw online. Unfortunately, I haven't heard that one, so it'll have to be just the H95. When compared to the H95, I think, in terms of cosmetics, it definitely looks a lot more like an accessory, like a fashion accessory, I would say with H95, and I think that's what B&O does well. It's more you kind of you wear it. It becomes part of your kind of just part of your wardrobe. In terms of sound quality, for the Focal, you can really tell. I think the two are kind of at a different level. When it comes to the Focal, definitely the more focus was on the quality of it, and you can hear that, especially again in the bass response, which is a lot cleaner, a lot more textured. On the top end, like just this overall, if you're in the mindset of sound quality, the Focals would just be the better choice.
Who do we really recommend the Focal BATHYS for? If you're the kind of listener who just wants really good, detailed, clean bass and next level type of portability and ease of use, the Focal BATHYS is really meant for you. It gives you a touch of Focal's higher end headphone line without the mess of cables and external DACs and all kinds of different accessories to make them sound the best they possibly can. That's the one thing I really found that really stood out for me with the Focal BATHYS, is just ease of use and sound quality is unmatched.
So I'm really pleased to see this product, because even just a couple of months ago, I remember my sister-in-law, she gives me a call. She's like, I want something that sounds good, that has noise canceling, that I can take around with me with ease. I couldn't really find something. And the one thing that was really important was even the cosmetics of it. You know, when it comes down to, you know, I would say finally bridging that gap between something that's practical but having that quality in the headphone. I think it's, you know, I really think it's perfect, and we should see more of this, because even if it brings more people into it by saying, like, you know, this sounds good, give it a try, and then now kind of open their eyes to the world of higher quality fidelity, you know, I think it's a big win for the industry in general.
If you're the kind of listener who always listens at home and doesn't really bring their headphones out, I would recommend looking at Focal's other higher end offerings as well, because they are truly designed for long listening comfort and pure sonic fidelity. Thanks for watching our video, and we'll see you in the next one.